Hi, I'm Denise Okuda,
And I'm Michael Okuda,
and you're listening to the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast,
along with April Dancer.
along with April Dancer.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined today by my sister, Fran T.
Hello, everybody. And as
Hey,
always, what's happening?
what's happening, Sister Fran, is that we got a great show. First of all, it's the two of us holding down the fort, which I think might be a first in all of these years. Just the two of us together holding down the fort. So I'm really excited. That's number one. Number two, I said number two, but I held up one finger. Number two, I'm really excited because we have really fabulous guests here with us today. We have none other than Denise and Michael Okuda of Star Trek fame and now for all mankind fame. We're so honored. Like I'm getting tongue tied because we're so excited that you guys are here, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. We've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Oh
Thank
man, you guys are some of the nicest people like I've ever met. When we actually you're so nice to everybody that you meet, and like just interacting with you all on the cruise, it was beautiful. You just lifted our spirits because you're just so warm and genuine with everybody.
And you for us.
Well, one of the things that we really hold dear is that we feel like everyone who loves Star Trek as much as we do are family. So when we walk into a room or we go on the Star Trek cruise, which by the way is fabulous, with, thousands of people, they are friends we've never met. So we feel like, we're all friends and we're family, and I think that just kind of promotes a feeling of, togetherness and so forth with all of us, which is really a precious thing in this crazy world.
Oh, you said that. I believe that. I think we were talking about this time on the cruise how special it was for all of us to be together, right, Fran?
So
Uh-oh. I can't really hear you, Fran. We lost you.
okay. Maybe I should
It's
this.
it's your internet connection is
I was
just
going to say it's the internet connection.
yeah.
We know all about bad internet connections. Oh, I'm not kidding. We do.
We know way too much about
Yeah.
bad internet connections.
So first of all, you guys, it's I call you guys like the Star Trek historians, like the curators of Star Trek. Um, how do you guys see yourselves in relationship to the franchise? Do you see yourselves that way?
We see ourselves as two kids who grew up loving Star Trek, wanting that to be the future, and we were lucky enough to get to work at Paramount Pictures.
We've
Oh
worked,
my
we've
good.
worked on Star Trek so many years. In fact, Michael, except for Gene Roddenberry, has worked on more Star Trek than anybody. And we can't believe, we were kids in front of the TV watching this television series that spoke to us so deeply about the hope and optimism of the future. And it helped to shape our lives. And then you fast forward so many years, then we're adults, and we got to work on Star Trek and we got to work with Gene Roddenberry. And, it's like dream come true time.
I think it sounds like it. I mean, I think so many of us out here are like, we look at your story and we see what you all have produced, and you sort of like were a roadmap for a lot of us, because you were fans and
Still
then
are. Still are.
right, still are, right? Yeah, it's present tense, right? And but then you got to actually work in it. And I sort of feel like that sometimes, um, you know, just doing our show, just the podcast, it's a little bit of Trekdom that we get to bring into our lives. But when we started, what was it, 2019, Fran?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
when
Yes.
yeah, when we started then, we didn't expect that we would get to have this opportunity to talk to all these wonderful people like yourselves and other people who have so much to do with the thing that we love so much, you know. So it's I get that. I, I mean, it's beautiful, and it's also what makes you guys really approachable too, you know, because we all know that you're just like us.
That's what we tell people when they say they're tongue-tied. We said, ah, we're just like you. No,
Sorry,
I'm
Fran,
sorry.
we can see you well, but we can't hear you.
You're gonna have to read. Although I know that book you have in your hand.
For those of you listening out there, Fran is holding up the Star Trek Encyclopedia, um, very well loved copy.
She is holding up a copy of the first edition of the Star Trek Encyclopedia, which, unlike the subsequent editions, we not only wrote it, but we picked all the pictures and we laid that one out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was a little girl at 11 years old looking at Star Trek, and I saw Miss Nichols up there, and I was hooked, and I was a Trekkie ever since because I saw myself in the future, and that hooked me. So, this book that I have, I bought this. This was before, Amazon and all this, and, your first edition. And I saw this book on the shelf and I took it off and I was like, oh my goodness, because I had never seen so much Trek in one place, authentic, Trek and information. And I was just overjoyed. And I bought it and bought it home and I just like kind of read it, kind of cover to cover. It took me a few days, but I was so grateful. I just want to thank you for doing that. This was what, 31 years ago? And I saw this book.
Go back, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for doing this because I was like overjoyed. I was in one of those, one of those big book. I won't name them, but I was in one of those big bookstores, and I always went to the sci-fi thing and try to look for, And this was the first thing I had ever seen this extensive with this much information. So thank you both and your other co-author for all the things that you had in there. So, and then next time I see you, maybe I get you can autograph it for me.
Yeah,
it would be our honor.
We'd love to. We're going to be on the next cruise in 2026 to celebrate the 60th anniversary. So if you're coming, bring the book.
I will bring the books. I've already reserve my cabin. I'm planning on being there.
Great.
Thank you.
The Star Trek Encyclopedia was a labor of love for us. We did it because we love Star Trek. But you started by talking about Nichelle Nichols. She was one of the first Star Trek cast members I ever met. I was working at a local television station in Honolulu, and I literally saw her walking across the soundstage, and I knew she was coming. I was very excited. She walks in beautiful and graceful, and we worked together for a couple of days. And on the second, and she was kind enough to pose with me to take a picture. So the next day, I brought a picture in and I asked her if she would sign it for me. And Nichelle, who was always incredibly gracious, said, "I will sign that picture for you if you have an extra print that you will sign for me." And so now, whenever I think of her, I think of the day that Nichelle Nichols asked me for my autograph, which is just. And then in subsequent years, Nichelle met so many people. Every time, and we didn't see her very often. Some days we'd see her on one of the movies, or we would see her at events. And you always try to give the cast members their space. and she would always come up to us and say, "Hi, Michael. Hi, Denise." And I'm going, "Holy crap, she remembers my name." She was such a sweetheart.
That's so cool.
Well,
Oh, that just brings me, this gives me like little chills, Anytime we can talk about Miss Michelle, we love to. She was
mhm.
our queen.
Yes.
So what other fun tidbits can you give us about the creation of this here book that Fran loves so much? Because this, you said that was the first edition, so there must have been a lot of trial and error, like in the creation, huh?
Oh, that book was an offshoot of a book we did before called the Star Trek Chronology.
Mm-hmm.
And the Star Trek Chronology, uh, it wasn't our idea. There was a meeting, and we weren't in the meeting.
Mm.
Um, Gene Roddenberry and Paula Block and a bunch of people were discussing the challenge of keeping the Star Trek novels and comic books consistent with what the shows were doing, because and the people from Pocketbooks were saying, well, there really isn't a standard reference to, when was the Federation founded and when was Kirk born, all these kinds of things. And they said it would really help us if we had that, because then we could stay consistent with what the show does. The problem is, who's going to be dumb enough to actually sit down and figure it all out? And again, we weren't there, but supposedly Gene volunteered us. So
Mhm.
that was kind of our marching orders. Yes, sir.
Right? I mean, the great bird is
Okay.
saying, "This is what I want you to do." So,
So it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. The Star Trek chronology. We would watch every episode, and we had an 18-page like questionnaire. For example, where had the Enterprise come from? At the end, where was the Enterprise going? Were there any time chronology timeline data points in the episode? And we would put these all in this extensive, exhaustive 18-page questionnaire. And this went on for all of the episodes, and then further on, of course, into Next Generation and so forth. And when we were done, we had all this information, and our editor at Pocketbook said, "Have you guys thought about doing an encyclopedia?"
mm.
And we thought, "Oh, well, we have all this information. How hard would that be? Well, let's do it." And of course, we had no idea how hard it would be. But like Mike said, it was a labor of love. We did enjoy doing it, and that particular first edition, we did everything. We wrote the book, we laid it out, we picked the pictures, we laid the pictures out, we did the approvals, because you have to get approvals from actors, to use their
Mhm.
likeness. We did
Mhm.
all of that, and we handed Pocketbooks, the publisher, the book on a disc, and nobody had done that before.
Yeah. Back then,
Back
that was a
then,
very
that was,
unusual thing.
90s, early 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so then we did, a couple editions of the Star Trek Encyclopedia. The last one we did was a 2-volume set, released in 2016.
Okay.
Wow. You guys are such pioneers. Like it's giving them the book on the disc. Were they like, what? Or were they ready for you?
They weren't ready. That actually wasn't the first book we delivered on disc. The first book
Oh,
we
that's right.
delivered on disc was the Star Trek: The Next Generation Technical Manual, which I wrote with Rick Sternbach.
Oh, wow.
And
Mm.
we sent it in on disc. And back in those ancient days, our editor at Pocket said, "Okay, we're going to print this out, and then we'll have somebody type it in to their system," because
my
they
God.
they didn't want to convert it.
Mm.
I said, "Sure, whatever you want to do, but A, I've already designed all the pages, and B, much more importantly, look at the text, look at all the technical terms. Do you want to check all those spellings? Do you want to be responsible for proofreading all that?" And they looked at it and they went, I think we'll let you type it."
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's amazing. So, okay, you good, Fran?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. I can hear you all fine.
Okay. Well, I think I was just thinking while you guys were talking, I think one of the things that's so interesting to me is that, before, as we were just alluding to a little bit before we came on, is about how important the Trek philosophies are to us in all of our lives and how they've shaped us so much. Do you still find these philosophies being like guiding principles to the work that you accept now?
Absolutely. We're lucky enough to be in a position in our careers where we can kind of pick and choose what we do. So we try very hard to pick projects that appeal to us, that we think are worth doing. And Star Trek certainly fits that category. As we are discussing earlier, we're presently working on a television series for Apple TV called For All Mankind. It's
Yay!
about what would have happened. It's an alternate history drama. What would have happened if the Russians beat America to the moon? And in this alternate universe, that spurs America to try even harder. So the benefits of space exploration, the technological spin-offs, they come faster. They come more powerfully, and then that spurs social change, and it's certainly not a perfect universe. We will never have a perfect world, but it's a better world, and it shows that it reminds us that if we work hard, if we work together, if we're compassionate, the world can be a better place. And
Hmm.
that's one of Star Trek's core messages as well.
Yes.
I also think that the philosophy of Gene Roddenberry, the hope and optimism of him and his and brought out in his television series, um, also gives us hope to carry on when we're in the dark times, when there are things happening that do not align with our core beliefs. It
Mhm.
gives us hope that someday the ship is going to be righted and we will go forth once again um, as one people. And we hold on to that very dearly. And it gets us through the hard times.
Hmm.
Let's hope so.
Hmm.
I I really, really hope so.
Yeah, I
We
think I received that because I mean I think that a lot of us right now are really holding on to really looking to Trek to be our fuel, right? And some strength and solace,
Mm.
right now.
Well, if you look at even as far back as the original Star Trek series, uh, Roddenberry was pretty clear that he thought that tomorrow can be a better place, but it wasn't necessarily a straight line. You
Mm.
might have World War III, you might have the eugenics wars, you might have other bad things happening, and yet people banded together in that universe to overcome those adversities and lead to a better tomorrow. And we can do that today. Again, it won't almost certainly won't be a straight line, but each of us pushing in our own way can help make it better.
Mm.
Oh man, that's mm, profound. Mm.
Yeah, it's beautiful words. We needed to hear that. I think, it just feels good to hear that a little bit of hope because, here I am. I live in DC and so I'm surrounded by an onslaught of news all the time and people are always coming in the people are protesting in this city every day over something, all the time. And it's just sometimes you just feel like it's hard to remain optimistic and it's hard to remain hopeful.
If you
Um,
look if you look at the original Star Trek series, back in that day, it was a pretty dark time as well. Yes, things turned out okay, But if you're there, you're in the middle of the Vietnam War, or you're in the middle of horrific social inequality. You're in the middle of we're terrified, genuinely afraid that nuclear war is going to take us all out and we're going to be wiped off the face of this earth. And
Cold War. Mm-hmm.
and we're I don't think we're out of the woods, but every age people find the strength and the resilience to make it through, and I think that will happen again.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too now. I might not have said that before we had this conversation, but I did now.
I agree with you, Tamia. I totally agree with you, and thank you, Michael, for that. Thank you.
hmm
It helps a lot.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it feels good, it really does. So, I had a question about you guys have created so much for the shows for Star Trek and for the other shows that you work on. Is there something that you have an idea of something that you want to design that you haven't been able to bring to the world yet?
That's a tough question because uh, one of the really fun things about Star Trek is the pressure of a television series is that you're always having to produce stuff. And as a result, even though you have producers and directors who do want you to do what they want, the reality is they really don't have the ability to micromanage everything. As a result, they have to hire people they trust, and they trusted us.
Mhm.
So we got to get a lot of, let's what happened if you do that?
Mhm.
We got to do a lot of wacky things. There was one episode of Star Trek Enterprise where I don't know why, but one of us got into our brains. What if you took a video projector and projected the image onto someone's head? And we literally did that for I don't remember what the episode was, and it was just a wacky thing, and it looked great on film, and uh, we kind of told the producers what we were planning, but not really because they didn't have the time to listen to a long explanation. We just did it, and we were lucky enough that we were in an environment where our producers, our production designers trusted us, and they didn't try to hamstring us.
And also,
Mhm.
we work with a bunch of really great and very talented people. That's the thing about Star Trek is that in the years that we've worked, I mean, TNG and DS9 and Voyager and Enterprise, you pretty much had the same people or most of the same people going from series to series, and it became
Mm.
a well-oiled machine. And
Okay.
so a lot of times there was nonverbal communication. I mean, everybody just kind of knew their job, and because we had all been together so long, um, it just kind of happens more smoothly because television production is a very fast-paced, demanding environment,
Mm.
and it's kind of different than it is now. It's still stressful and fast, but it's very different. And we were very lucky to work with such wonderfully talented people. And especially in the art department, and especially in Michael's graphics department, we had a staff of a couple people. We all love Star Trek.
Mhm.
So, even when we were tired and under stress, we knew we were doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You sure were. You were. Oh, I have a question. I've seen you all have done the series, the movies, and I saw where you did um video games. Did you find a stark difference among those, or were you still working with the same people in the well-oiled machine?
There were some people who crossed over, but not. for example, in the video game industry, we didn't do really that much in video games. They brought us in to consult, and we said, here's the things we suggest, and then they run off and do what they do.
Mhm.
Partly because that was it's a different industry. It's a
It's a
different
different
way of,
industry.
yeah, it's a different way of doing things.
Okay.
Television and film, there's a significant overlap. It's very much very similar technology. The main difference is in television, you get a script, and approximately 7 working days later, you have to start shooting. So you have 7 days to prep, and then you shoot for
Mhm.
roughly 7 to 8 days, and that's how long you have to do an episode. Whereas in a motion picture, you typically have several weeks to several months to prep, and
Mhm.
you have I don't know, like 2 or 3 months to shoot 2 hours of material.
And you don't shoot as many pages.
Yeah,
In television, you shoot, I don't know,
five,
lots of
six,
pages,
seven
six,
pages.
7, 8 pages. And in a motion picture, it's like 2, 3. I mean, it's very, very different. But the gaming projects that we've done in that whole industry, it's really completely different.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
But also over the years, we were at Paramount for almost 20 years, and we're we're immersed in that production style.
Mhm.
Recently, we've gone back for several years after that. We did projects that were related to the production industry, but not in the production industry.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We went back. We spent 5 years working on For All Mankind. I worked in a couple seasons of Star Trek Picard, and I'm surprised at how much production has changed.
Mhm.
Digital cameras make a huge difference. Uh, One of the things back when we were working, Denise was our video supervisor, and she was responsible for all the video screens you see on the set, and to make sure that the right images appear on the right screen in the right scene.
Okay.
Oh.
And to do that, she worked with our animator Jim Vanover to create those animation loops, and they had to be done roughly the 1 or 2 days ahead of time so that they could be written onto computer disk, couriered over to a vendor who would then transfer them uh, to 24 frame videotape and get it back.
Oh, wow.
And she would give it to her playback engineer who would play it on stage. And so if the director didn't like what we had prepared, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
It's that much lead time. On Star Trek Picard and on For All Mankind, on Star Trek Picard, uh, if the director says, "I this doesn't really convey what I want," uh, we'd get a panicked email or text. I on this very computer here, I can make a graphic change. Email that to an animator who lives. I think he lives in Chicago.
Chicago.
He
Mm.
Wow.
he would do the animation, and he would then send it over to Santa Clarita, where Ben Betts
Larry Markham.
and Larry Markart, our video engineers, would put it on, and we could largely change animation in half an hour or an hour,
Oh my gosh.
which is
Mm.
amazing. Similarly, on we're not in the art department of For All Mankind, but there'll be times when we'll say, "Hey, that shouldn't appear on the screen in Mission Control," and they'll say, "What should it be?" So on this very laptop, we'll do something and give it to our animator from
From For All Mankind.
yeah from
Mhm.
uh, Modern Motion Pictures. It's our vendor there, and they'll put it together and boom.
Wow.
Mm.
That's such an interesting point that you bring up because you guys have seen this whole evolution of your industry. that's really pretty fascinating. I would think, because it seems like to me, like, I mean, it seems like well, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, please. It seems like there was a time, I don't know, let me just ask the question. Does it seem like the type of change has sped up, the rapidity of the changes from when you first started? Like it seems to me like it would be like it's so much more to keep up with these days. It's like technological change.
Tremendously. Tremendously.
But when young people start in the industry and they ask us for advice, uh, the most important thing to remember is that change is constant.
Mhm.
Learn this particular software package or this thing, but know that that's going to change.
Mhm.
When we started Next Generation to do a computer screen, I literally in an animation cells and I do art on that, and Denise would drive it over uh, to a company that had a 35 millimeter animation stand and would shoot it on film. And
Mhm.
Wow.
so far from that.
Wow. I'm just thinking about it helps. I love hearing this because it helps really put into context what you all do, and the other people that work with you and how much it was taking to actually get these shows to air. And, I mean, it's particularly delightful to me because we don't get to hear this aspect often. I mean, Sci-Fi Sisters, we get to interview a lot of people, but mostly they're like on-screen talent, most of the time. I don't get to talk to people who are actually making the show in these other ways. It's really fascinating to me.
One of the things about Star Trek is if you talk to, I mean, we're in the art department, which is one department, and in fact,
Hmm.
we're the graphics department, which is a sub department within the art department. But if you talk to people in any department, be it lighting, grips, camera, costume, editing, sound, whatever, uh, and they talk about their work, they will always say, uh, uh, "My show does this," because to each of those people, they are the most important person on the production, and they take their job seriously, and they do an amazing job, and that's why the show looks good. It's not because one department is great. It's because everyone gives it 100%.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. I also saw where you all were involved in the conversion to the high def for some of the series. What did that entail? What did you all do with how were you involved in that?
That was the original Star Trek series and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Hmm.
Both of those shows were shot on 35 millimeter motion picture film, which is inherently high definition. But
Okay.
it it aired on standard definition television, and for years it was released on either videotape or DVD, which is again standard definition. And
Hmm.
the DVDs actually look quite good, but CBS wanted to release the show in high definition, which is, as they say, a non-trivial task. Uh, you have to rescan the film in high definition, and for the original Star Trek, they the studio was afraid that the visual effects wouldn't hold up. We actually disagree, but they asked us to uh, to work on that. On Star Trek: Next Generation is even harder because the studio had put a huge amount of effort into cataloging everything. So they had all the film and everything like that. But the show back in the day was edited electronically on videotape. So there was not a cut together piece of film. So they had to rescan everything. They had to reassemble the show, all the episodes from the raw takes. Then they had to rescan all the pieces of the visual effects, the ships, the planets, the whatever. They had to rebuild that, and we didn't do that work. But we were
Okay.
the artistic consultants on for the visual effects on
Hmm.
on the original series, we worked with a gentleman named Dave Rossi. Uh, and on Star Trek Next Generation, we we were their sanity check. We said, okay, uh, when you work on this kind of project, there is an irresistible temptation. I can tell you from personal experience, there's an irresistible temptation to go, wow, they did a great job. Here, let me make it better.
Uh-huh.
And when you make it better, you probably can make it better. I'm sure there are things you could suggest that would make the shot better. But there's millions of people who've seen the show, and this is what they expect. This is what you have to be true to those people's memories, that they love the show. And that was what we did. We tried to be the eyes and ears of the fans. Denise was my sanity check. There are times when I'm going, I hate that shot. Let me fix that. And
I'm going, no. That's the way it was, and that's the way it will be.
I love that.
I fixed a couple of things anyway.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist it, right?
But it really is. Whenever someone redoes a show like that, it's really important to try to respect the original work and the fans who saw it originally, and that's remarkably hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can imagine. So I can imagine that would be, yeah. What do you guys think the chances of getting a DS9 remastered are?
We hear rumblings every couple of years.
Yeah.
Who
knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we called a few times, and if it happens, great. Love to see it happen.
Yeah.
We love that show.
Yeah, we love that show, but who knows? We've learned to say never.
Yeah.
The people who spearheaded the remastering of Star Trek: The Next Generation, David Grant and Ryan Adam and David LaFontaine and Ken Ross, they literally had been pushing the remastering of Next Generation for literally 10 years. It took that long for all of the pieces to line up, for all the budgets to line up, for all the departments to line up for it to happen.
Wow. Yeah, because it seems like a truly massive undertaking.
It is a massive undertaking. You are correct.
Yeah. So there's no small thing that we fans are asking for. Yeah.
Keep asking.
Keep asking. I think it would
We
be
will.
cool. But again, you never know.
Yeah. I had to ask, because you never know what little nuggets of information might be floating around for that, and also
If you
just
hear
to,
anything, let us know.
we will. We'll do a Sci-Fi Sisters push, another push for it. Like, please, you guys. So can you guys talk to us a little bit about what you're doing with the Roddenberry archives?
The Roddenberry Archive is a project of Rod Roddenberry, Gene's son, and a gentleman named Jules Urbach, who is the CEO of a cloud computing company called Otoy. Jules, by the way, A, he's a genius, and B, and he's this visionary technologist, but also he's Rod's childhood friend.
Oh, cool.
So they have set out to archive,
Preserve for the future.
works from that have sprung from what Gene did. And one of the projects that we're doing is we're recreating in digital form the various starships, the various bridges, a lot of the sets,
Props, costumes.
in a way that if you come back, if you wanted to build the Enterprise bridge today, it's not that hard. You can find it on the internet. Come back in 5, 10, 20 years, that's not going to be the case. And also, you're not going to be able to find like, is this out? Is this accurate? Is this how it really was, or is this was this some book cover or something? And
Hmm.
so uh, Jules and the team have assembled this amazing crew of artists who are not only talented and skilled, but they're and incredibly knowledgeable about Star Trek, but they're obsessively detail oriented. So they're building the sets. They're recreating the ships, and they're generally trying to do it in two ways. First, I want to see the starship that I imagined I saw in my head.
Hmm.
But also, they're generally, not for everything, but they're generally also doing a second version. This is what they actually built that was on stage. This there was only this wall here. The um, the curtain was there, but there was nothing behind it.
Hmm.
And why is that important? Because that tells you how they made Star Trek. What was that there's an interesting story as to the compromises that you make, the ideas that you have, and how people put it together to create this illusion to tell this story. And I think it's a hugely important part of Star Trek's story, and that's one of the things that they're doing.
I think that's so cool.
Wow.
I know, right?
Hmm.
I remember on the last cruise, the cruise before last, and you guys gave a presentation, um, and you were using a lot of those images from the archive, and it was just so cool. You know, I mean, I sat there just entranced the whole time. I mean, the project is, I'm grateful for it. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
So are we. Some months ago, uh, the team, including an artist named Donnie Versega, recreated the Enterprise A bridge, which was the first Enterprise bridge that I worked on.
Mm.
And you only see this much of it in the movie, just the area behind the captain and behind Uhura. Uh, but we actually did the whole bridge, and I took a couple of pictures of the set, but I was overwhelmed with I'm getting to work on Star Trek. I didn't think to take pictures of everything, and the Roddenberry archive team rebuilt that set and lit it, and this is what it was like to stand there.
Wow.
That feeling is remarkable. We also work with a filmmaker named Roger Lay Jr., who's doing this amazing series of documentaries and oral history interview pieces. We did a piece that was narrated by Armin Sherman, who played Quark,
Yay.
and
Hmm.
uh, he Armin takes us through the Deep Space Nine promenade, which, as I'm sure know, was torn down immediately after we finished filming Deep Space Nine.
Oh
I
So,
my
heard that.
goodness.
thanks to the Roddenberry archive, we can virtually walk through that set again, and that's a remarkable feeling.
Wow. That must be pretty emotional.
Well, it takes you back. In fact, we every Friday we have a Zoom meeting with all, we have an art review with all the artists and who are from all over the world. We have Argentina and the UK and Canada, and of course here in the United States. And there was a recreation of the sick bay from
Yeah.
from Deep Space Nine, and it
Mhm.
looked so real. I mean,
Ah,
it was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
oh, wow. I love
Oh,
that. So, like, most of that is up and available for people to check out, right?
Yes, go to roddenberry.x.io and you'll find links to look at the bridges of a whole bunch of starships. You'll also find links to a bunch of the documentaries that Roger has produced. You'll also find links to a series of what we call concept videos that are things that Jules and Rod dream up, just little snippets of stories of not even stories, moments that are drawn from novels and graphic novels, and just showing us this moment uh, from the Star Trek universe that you probably never thought you'd see.
Mm. Okay, cool. See, that part I didn't know about. Okay, I'm more excited now. Right, Fran?
Go on the
Yes, right.
website
That's right.
and just explore.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be on there this weekend again. Because I mean, just like being able to see some of the slides that you all brought before, like it was like that is so cool. But I want to actually be able to take some time and delve into it.
There's a timeline you can slide back and forth and you can say, "Oh, let me look at the bridge of that ship. Let me look at this ship," and and go through it.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Sister Yvette, did you hear that? There's a timeline for you. She's a big timeline. What'd you say, Fran?
I said, oh my gosh, timeline, Yvette, and timeline.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Yvette, blah,
Check it out,
blah,
check it out at roddenberry.x.io.
Okay, we'll put a link to it in the show notes as well. That's for sure. Fran,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know you had another question.
I don't know. I have another question, and I don't know if they want to answer this. However, of all the things that you worked on, is there a favorite? And it doesn't have to be Trek.
Yes. In 2016, we worked on an amazing project. Was it 16? We released it in 16. Actually, we worked on it for a decade. It was called the Roddenberry Vault. And what it was is about 10 years before we finished it, Rod Roddenberry said, I want you to meet me at this address.
Secret address.
Secret location.
Wow.
Okay, and we've known Rod since he was a kid. And we said, okay, so we met him at this like warehouse thing, in the middle of a city. And he said, we're going to be doing this project and I want you to come in and see what we have. So we went in and there were rows and rows and rows on shelves of film cans. And inside the film cans were reels of varying sizes of film. And what they were outtakes from the original Star Trek television series. I mean, this is what I call the Holy Grail. These are things that did not make it into the episode. They were on the cutting room floor. They were missing scenes. They were behind the scenes.
Your alternate takes.
Oh
my goodness.
And so from basically that moment on, it's more complicated than that, but they had to hire a technician that would take this film, it's called telecine, and they'd put it through this ancient machine where you run the film and then you convert it to a form where we can watch it today. So every so often at our house, we would get a DVD of all this spliced together footage. And we would go through it. The first time we just watched it.
Of course, right? You have to, right?
And blowing our minds, of course, because this is a step back into time. This is opening a window into the Star Trek original series, which we watched when we were kids. And now we know the original series extremely well. I don't know why, but I've got so much stuff memorized, dialogue. I mean, I can tell you, I didn't have to go look it up, basically. I could hear things and know it was correct or not, or alternate take. And we did that for many, many years. We put together this very detailed spreadsheet with in and out codes and
What episode they were
what
from.
episode they were from and the description of what we had. And when we were done, the I don't have it anymore in here, but the binder was this thick.
Mm.
And from that, then we worked with our friend Roger Lay Jr., who we're still working with, and we put together the we had the aired episodes, and then we did documentaries around those episodes using the footage that we had been given for the Roddenberry Vault, and that was published. That was published and released
2016.
in 2016, and I think you could still find it. It's on Blu-ray, and I encourage everyone, especially if you're an original series fan, to
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
Yes, if
Yes.
you're an original series fan, Roger's documentaries have just snippets, but just moments that you hadn't seen before.
It's amazing, and that's my favorite of
Yeah.
everything I've worked on having to do with Star Trek. That's my favorite.
Oh my God, that is so cool. Is the Roddenberry Vault? That's what you said, right?
Roddenberry Vault.
Mhm.
I think you can still get it. I think you
I
can-
hope so.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google
But
it right
if
now.
it's available, get it quickly because CBS put it out basically because they wanted to honor the 50th anniversary, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it won't ever be reprinted.
No, it's not going to be reprinted. No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I see it available at eBay, Deep Disk. Oh, it's also on Amazon
Yeah,
and Target. Okay, we can still
Good, I'm
get it.
glad-
I'll be getting that soon.
I'm glad because I swear it is amazing.
I remember going to that panel that you guys did on the cruise as well. I was absolutely fascinated. We were all Sabrina. I know Sabrina and I went together to that one. Fran, were you at that one?
No, I was not.
Okay, I think, and I was just sitting there with my mouth open, like my jaw was on the floor. It's just these amazing images and the stories that you all were telling. And it was so special to get those moments. You get to, just learning more about the people who brought our favorite thing to life. It was really cool.
The other favorite thing that we've done was also related to the original Star Trek was in 1996. 96?
Yep, 96.
We worked on a D Space Nine episode called Trials and Tribulations.
Yay!
Yes.
And we got to rebuild and play in a recreation of the original series corridor. We got to play with original phasers. We got to build a part of the original bridge, and that was more fun than you can possibly imagine.
It's great.
It looked like it. It really looked like there was fun being had in that episode.
Yes,
Really?
You are
absolutely.
absolutely correct. I remember standing outside the stage, waiting for the red light to go off, just geeking out with Terry Farrell, who was going, "I get to wear this. I get to wear this costume." But also, but as much fun as that is, you get to. I don't know if you're familiar with the Star Trek tour, original series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York.
Mm-hmm.
James Cawley has actually built more of the original Enterprise than we did, and it's still standing. You can visit it, and if you get a chance, we highly recommend
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
That is
Alrighty.
one. Huh, Fran? I'm sorry.
I said all righty.
But that's one trip that I haven't made yet that I really want to make. I know
you need
a
to
couple
do
of
it.
friends that have been to the set tour and love it.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and the people there, they love Star Trek as much as the rest of us do, and they love sharing it with all of us fellow fans. So we always have a great time there, both the sets and the people.
And we're
Yeah.
supposed to, if our schedule permits, James Cawley's invited us to come in June. That Bill Shatner is going to be coming for the weekend. I think it's the 26th, 27th, something like that. So you can look it up on the website. But hopefully we're going to get to go. We're going to get to go back because we haven't been in about a year or so, and we really love it there.
That would be really cool. Y'all heard it here. Okay, so look it up. Go see the Okudas and the Shat. So we're getting close to wrapping up time here really quick. I just want to ask like one final question from you guys. And this one might be a super easy one, but I don't know. You never know. I just want to know what is for individually for you guys, what is the greatest thing that Trek has taught you for your life?
Oh, wow.
I know it's just the one.
I said this before. If you're smart, if you work together, if you're compassionate,
Mm-hmm.
if you're accepting,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow can be a better place.
Mm-hmm.
What he said, but what Star Trek taught me from a very young age is that we may have different cultures, we may look differently, but we're all the same. And
Mm-hmm.
and that makes us stronger. Our diversity together makes us stronger. And I took that with me through my life, and I believe in it with all my heart. And I believe in Gene Roddenberry philosophy, which is hope and optimism for the future.
Oh, yeah.
I love all the things that you all just said. Every single one of them. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being with us and taking some time to spend with us tonight. And more importantly, thank you for your body of work and just for loving this thing as much as we do and being these wonderful ambassadors for this thing. We just love you all. We really, really adore you.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Tamia. Thank you for including us.
Well, we love you. And
You're so welcome.
I'm going to say a couple of things before we sign off here. That if you have any thoughts that you want to share about your favorite parts of the Star Trek franchise or the work that the Okudas have done, you can find us on sci-fi sisters.com. You can find us on Blue Sky and Threads and what's that other thing? We're not on the X anymore. Instagram, that's the one. Instagram, and on Facebook, at Sci-Fi Sisters. I think Instagram is sci-fi.sisters. I think that's Instagram and Threads. I'm messing this up. Don't be mad at me, Yvette. This isn't my job.
You're doing a great job.
And join us on Facebook on the Mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. That's our group, and the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club on Facebook. And if you're looking for us, we are SYFYSISTAS. And we need to thank the most fabulous associate producers ever, without whom this work is not possible. So we'd like to thank Sailor Marge, Stephanie Baker, and Karen Dramera. We love you guys, and thanks for all your support. And we want to thank everybody for listening. And that's all we got, folks. We're out of here. Peace, love, and hair grease, my friends. Hi, Sister Tamia here with the shorty shout-outs for this month. We'd like to thank the following patrons for your support. Anna Post, Susan V. Gruner, Mohammed Noor, Sue K., Karen Dramera, David Balston, Eve England, Dave A. Gregory, Timothy Baum, L.M., Howard Hogan, Ann Bradley, Scott Jensen, Jamal Taylor, Stephanie Dole, Sailor Marge, Stephanie Baker, Kaylia Zawaki, Liza Albright, TJ Jackson Bay, Olga Kravchuk, Peter Heisler, Old Klein, Jeffrey Cochran, Linda Anderegg, Zakia Graham, Bill Erickson, Rita Poussaint Nethersole, Rhonda G., Bernadette Garcia Galvez, Tara Jefferson, L.J., Bruce McMillan, Cassandra, Mike Nauer, Brad DeMag, Casey Shavsky, Ayana Mae Tom, Mike and Kristen Holton, Allison Leach Hyde, Michael Stakem, Oils Galore, Lenny, Sandra Aponte, Cleo Townsend, Tara, Bino, and Allie Ashmead. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you.